Do you ever find that having something to say, like a rhyme or like a little motto, is so helpful for you for the way that you approach an activity or the way that you think about something? In this episode, we're going to go through 3 mottos that we know, love, and use at the dance studio, and I'm going to teach them to you so that you can adopt them into your dance world and also your life. Hello, my beautiful, gorgeous dance baby, and welcome to another episode of More Than Dance. Today, we are talking about 3 mottos that we stand by at the studio that help you with your growth as a beginner and an experienced dancer. The first is get the F there. If you haven't heard me say this before, where have you been? I'm just kidding. But that is one of our biggest mottos. The next is that we don't say the word can't. And the third is adopted from my favorite ballet teacher, Katya, strong and wrong. So the reason why these even came about was through years of teaching. I think I've told you the story about get the F there and why that started. And it has proven to help not only with dance, also life experiences, as my students tell me. Saying the word can't, we avoid because it can be so detrimental to listen to yourself, tell yourself that you can't do things when you are fully capable. And strong and wrong because, come on, does that one need further explanation? It does, and we will. And I want to bring this to your attention because of 2 reasons. One, because you can adopt these as your mottos, whether you're a dancer, or you can also think about this in terms of any other activity that you do. The second reason why I'm telling you this is because you get to also create your own mottos for yourself and for your learning experience. So I know for me, these ones work the best for me, and I've been using them for about 15 years. And if there is something else that comes through, I adopt it and I take it in as this is something that I'm going to use to help me to stay motivated. There are a few mottos that I've brought into my life that I use from time to time. Actually, the most recent one, as you know, I decided to choose the word decide last year for my word of the year. And ever since then, when I face decisions that are complicated, I have this motto, and it's not even a motto, it's just the word, but it's the word that rings in my head, and it's like, decide, it will be okay. And it is, it's fine. So I make my decision and I move on. Another one that you've heard me talk about is B plus, get it done. And that one I love because it's inspired by my mom. And I go through the story of how my dad and I were perfectionists. We like to get things done so exact. And my mom, she just flies through tasks. She gets so much done. It's so impressive. And it's because she's not trying to get an A plus on anything. She's trying to just get it done. She actually does get A's on a lot of it. She's like, it's actually amazing. So, but her mentality isn't, I'm going to make this perfect. And then there's other mottos. And I'm sure right now, as you're listening, you're like, oh, I have a couple mottos for life. So when you're stepping onto the dance studio, it's important that you can be one with your mottos, because chances are when you're going on the dance roller coaster and you go down that black hole where the mist comes through and you take the picture. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know you've listened to the episode on how dance is like a roller coaster. When you're in that moment, you need something to rely on, something that you can lean on, just like a brick wall, something that feels sturdy and like it can hold you up. And the only thing that holds us up on the dance floor, other than our feet, is our mind. When we're able to have such a strong, healthy mind, we can easily become such a great dancer. We can combat any choreography. We can allow ourselves to feel success, even on a night that feels really challenging. Especially as an adult, life has so many challenges. There's challenges as a kid too, but like when I'm experiencing my life now as a full-grown adult with businesses and things to manage, things feel harder. Adulting's hard. Things just feel tough. I just picture like this like swarming beehive like around me of all these tasks and things that are like floating around my head. And when I'm doing something that I love, which is dance, and when I'm doing something for myself, so if I'm taking my own advice here, this would be when I step into my own world and I'm working on something that I am not an expert at. So it could be this right here, a podcast. I don't consider myself an expert podcaster yet. Oh, that just reminded me of another point that I'm going to bring into when we talk about can't, which is so exciting because that magic word of yet is so powerful. So when I'm thinking about my own things, I see the swarm of all the tasks that get done. and it's overwhelming and it distracts me from the things that I'm working on that I'm loving. So I know you, and when you're coming to dance, all you want to do is dance, but you want to learn how to turn your mind off. And when you can turn your mind off and turn it on in the dance world, it can be a lot easier. One of the easiest ways is to learn and get comfortable with your dance mottos. So let's start with can't, actually, because I'm in that vibe right now. So we don't say the word can't. I actually despise when people say the word can't to me, because it's like, yeah, you can. Or it's also like, have you even tried yet? Like, have you even like gave it a real go? Have you? Have you given it a go? And then also, I'm like, forever? Like, you're going to just say you can't do that forever? No, it's until you want to learn it, or until you want to master it, or until you want to spend time doing that thing. So for dance, my dancers, even before they get to the studio, they'll be like, oh, I can't do a split. I can't do this. I can't do that. I don't know how to dance. And so what we do is we have 3 things that they get to say now. So what we do is, if you get caught saying the word can't at the studio, you get to now say 3 things that you love about yourself. And I have heard from my students and from people that I like do this with, like outside of the studio, I have heard that this is one of the most helpful tools for especially a woman to realize her own potential and for her to find her own empowered energy, because it pauses you and it says, well, hold on, tell us everything you love about yourself real quick. And I usually tell people to pick things that are non-physical. So if someone's like, I really love my hair. Okay, but really? You're just going to say you really love your hair and then you're just going to cop out with that one? If it's, I really love how I take time for myself in the day to care for my hair, that's different. Or when people are like, I like my shirt, I'm like, okay, well, that's not really it. So when we go deeper, we find those things that are real, true qualities that that person has. So maybe they find out that they're a really great friend. Maybe they realize that they're really supportive through what they do with their partner. And it can be really fun hearing these. So I don't hate it when my clients say that they can't do something, because I like to hear all the things that they love about themselves. So 1, it pauses you in that moment and it says, well, hold on, let's get to the can't in a second. First, let's love on ourselves. And then when it gets to the can't next, it says, how can you rephrase that differently? And when we're inputting this pause in to just say that we love ourselves, we're actually taking the whole moment with can't away for a quick second. And when we get to it, we approach it with a different energy. We approach it with a heightened energy, because we've now just lifted ourselves up, realizing like, oh, wow, I'm awesome. So now you come back to what you just said. I can't do this. I can't dance. And you can say, I can't dance yet. Okay, that's fine. Or you can say, I am finding this so difficult right now, and I love how determined I am to figure it out. Or I'm finding this to feel so defeating right now, and I'm still here, still working on it. So reframing like that can now teach you that anything can be done. And it's not a matter of, I can't do this. It's a matter of, how can I do this? So that's one of my favorite mottos. Now we're going to skip over to the next one, which is called Strong and Wrong. And again, I told you that I learned this from my ballet teacher, who's the best. Her name is Katya. And she actually has like all these like fun teaching-isms that I've heard from her. But this one's my favorite, and the one that is so prominent, one, because it's easy to say, strong and wrong. It rhymes. You'll never forget it. And 2, it's so true. And, we talk about that phrase, fake it till you make it. And I've told you before, like, I don't love that phrase. And I've yet to do a podcast episode on this exact topic, because there is something I like about it. And there's something I really don't like about it, because I don't necessarily think that you're faking it when you're making it. And anyway, this phrase, strong and wrong, makes me feel like it's the heightened, like more divine way of saying fake it till you make it. It's strong and wrong, baby. And here I am. I'm doing it. And it kind of plays into get the F there, because it's got an attitude behind it. And the attitude behind strong and wrong is like, yeah, and it's like, yeah, I did that. And did you see my solo? Or yeah, I just forgot that move and look at my face. It's saying I'm winning. It's saying I killed it. And it's this idea of doing something so strong that you messed up. And as dancers, we mess up all the time. We might forget something. We might do the wrong arm, the wrong leg while we're learning. Like, there's so many things that can happen. And if you can approach those things with the idea of, I'm going to hit this strong and full out versus I'm going to hit this with hesitation, I'm going to see your hesitation even if it was the right thing. So there's been times where I've like kind of like played this joke a little bit on my students where I've like done the whole thing and I've done it strong and wrong. And I've been like, do you guys see where I forgot the choreo? And they've been like, wait, what? And they know the choreo and they weren't able to even notice it. And so when we're thinking about this, it's really helpful because you're able to adopt that attitude and say, well, I might be doing this wrong and it might not be it. It's kind of like the way I imagine acting to be, because when you're out there, as if I've been out there, I'm just like imagining like, okay, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, when they were in the Titanic, maybe they said the wrong words or the wrong thing that wasn't on the script, or they ad-libbed, whatever the case is. You know that if it was really good, the director is taking that. You know, if it was really high quality acting and it was strong and wrong and everything else aligned, they're keeping that run. Maybe they're going to try and get another one after. I also don't know why. Every time I think about a movie, I always think of the Titanic. That's just one of my favorites. So as you're bringing this motto into your life, if you are, just know that there is no wrong way to do it. So strong and wrong, you can't do strong and wrong, because then you're just going to be doing it strong and wrong. So enjoy this, because this one's a fun one. And it's kind of like a little confidence booster too, because it's like you're able to have this moment with yourself that's like internally you're conversing with your internal self and you're like, you just did that wrong. And then your like external self is like, yeah, and watch me. So it can be kind of liberating in a way, because you're doing it wrong and you know you're doing it wrong, but you're trying not to let on that it is wrong. Anyway, it's really powerful. And I know that my students love it. And so the next one that I will leave you with is that get the F there. And I have this whole episode about get the F there. And this concept came to me one day. I'll never forget it. My beginner students, we were transitioning from an up part of the dance routine to the down part. And there's this drop that we do, which coils and you land on one of your butt cheeks. And it can be very conceptually challenging for someone who's brand new, because when we're doing this, we're looking backwards or frontwards, depending on how we do it. And we coil in so that we're facing the other direction. So if you're like a copycat learner where you're like looking at every detail, your head can't look at everything at the same time while you're doing it. So you got to kind of trust the process, that's an annoying one. Honestly, now that we talk about this, there's mottos that are annoying. That's one of them. Trust the process. Another one, it was just meant to be. I like love those because they're so true. Trust the process. But they're like annoying. And I think they're annoying because they involve patience. So back to my students. So they're doing this move and they're wanting to be so exact with it. And at one point I was like, you know what? Let's quit with the exactness of all of this and let's get the F there. So I'm standing now and all I need you to do is get the F down and be on your left butt or your right butt. And that was it. And it was like, okay, so I just got to figure out a way to get there. So it's almost like we take A, where we are, and B, where we're going. And that's that moment. Another place that we do this is when there's a chunk of choreography. Let's say that we learn the beginning and it's pretty clean. And then the next phrase or the next portion of choreo comes. And it's like, for a beginner dancer, that can feel a little overwhelming. So let's say that they're like, oh, this one's kind of like, I got the beginning pretty good. And now this part, and then this part feels a little bit confusing for me. And then this third part, I kind of get a little bit more easily. What we do is we create these landmarks within the routine. And those are our get the F there moments. Now, I'm telling you this explicitly, like going through these, because I want you to understand how we really do it at the studio. Though, get the F there in a broader sense can be really exciting. And we'll get to that in a second. So when we find our get the F there moments, think about it in terms of like the first sentence of every paragraph in an essay. So it's like, get the F there, blah, 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 blah. Get the F there, blah, 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 blah. Get the F there, blah, 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 blah. Closing paragraph, get the F there, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe like the last line, get the F there. So in a dance routine, that could look like we start the move, we have like an arrow with a head movement, and it's like that stuff that we know. And then it's like, I don't know what happens. I don't know. And then it's like, okay, well, what's your next get the F there moment that you know? That means that you know what you're doing when the music happens. So if the song is like, ow, you're like, I do this. I stand in second with my arms to the side in a low V. That's your get the F there moment. So it's like every time you hear that, ow, you go, ow with your body. Or it could be that the get the F there moment is like a triplet of beats. So it's like bum, bum, bum. And you're like head, head, head. So maybe nothing else before that, or maybe nothing else after that is so clear, but you know you're going to hit that. You got the F there. Do. Got the F there. Get the F there can also be like when the choreo is over and you know how it ends, but you don't know how you got there. It's like that ending pose. You get the F there. Now, how we can see this broadly is through simple things. It's like I was wanting to sleep in, but I knew I couldn't, so I got the F there. I got the F up, and here I am. It could be that you made plans with your friends, and that day came and you kind of didn't feel like going, and you were going to back out, but instead you got the F there. Maybe you didn't do your hair full out, or you didn't do your makeup full out. Maybe you wore like a really cozy outfit versus wearing like the heels and like the whole outfit thing that you were going to wear. You got the F there. It might have looked differently than what you expected, but you still got there. And this is why it ties into strong and wrong, because it's strong. It wasn't your plan, but you hit it strong. You got the F there. Another could be you have like this crazy busy schedule and you've got like things stacked on your day, and you know you're going to be late for something if you're going to have lunch, and you know that you're going to end up having to make this call while you're driving, and you're going to get the F there. You're going to figure it out. You're going to do it. You're going to have your lunch, maybe a mouthful while you're on the phone. Who knows how you're going to do it, but you're going to get the F there. So I hope that you enjoy these mottos that we adore at the studio, and I hope that they help you. And if they do, it would mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend. You can even share it on your Instagram. When you share the More Than Dance podcast, you are helping a dancer just like you on their dance journey. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the dance floor.